The magic has been lost between actress Emma Watson and Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. Now, for years, Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter, Emma Watson, who played Hermione, they have made comments about J.K. Rowling because J.K. Rowling believes there are two genders, right? Call her controversial. She thinks there are two genders and that there shouldn't be men and women's sports. These things aren't controversial. In fact, they're widely accepted by 80% of all Americans here in the United States, probably much more, right? But at least 80% agree with J.K. Rowling. Now, for years, Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson have taken shots at J.K. Rowling. I guess they thought because she wrote this book, Harry Potter, with magic and goblins and flying cars, that she would also believe the fantasies that there are 1,000 different genders and pronouns. That was not the case. Okay, we can have flying cars and people on broomsticks and Wingardium Leviosa and all of these spells and witchcraft, but we're still going to have two genders. You know what I'm saying? We're still going to have two genders in J.K. Rowling's eyes. But Emma Watson, she couches herself as this real intellectual. She says she's not religious. She's like some type of spiritual being and all of this stuff. And she thinks she's just really smart. She does not have her finger on the pulse of where the average working class American is here in this country. She doesn't understand it because she's been a millionaire since she was a teenager. She has been a famous actress her entire life. Well, she was on Jay Shetty's podcast and she was asked about J.K. Rowling, and you could see her kind of roll back some of her criticisms of J.K. Rowling, and this clip has gone totally viral. Let's take a look and then discuss.
And this is where this like holding of these, I just don't know what else to do other than hold these two seemingly incompatible things together at the same time and just hope maybe they will one day resolve or co-join themselves, and maybe accept that they never will, but that they can both still be true. And I can love her. I can know she loved me. I can be grateful to her. I can know the things that she said are true. And there can be this whole other thing. And my job feels like to just hold all of it. But the bigger thing is just what she's done will never be taken away from me.
You can tell Emma Watson grew up on movie sets because she doesn't seem to be too bright. She doesn't seem too educated. She's struggling to form coherent sentences. I had no idea what she was saying. I could barely understand what Emma Watson was saying. Well, J.K. Rowling, she actually responded. Okay, she did a long post responding to Emma Watson because for years, Emma Watson has been shady. Now she wants to walk it back. Okay, so here's what J.K. Rowling said. I want to read you a little bit about this. I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous. I therefore understand from my own life experience what the trashing of women's rights in which Emma has so enthusiastically participated means to women and girls without her privileges, she goes on to say. The greatest irony here is that had Emma not decided in her most recent interview to declare that she loves and treasures me, a change of tack I suspect she's adopted because she's noticed full-throated condemnation of me is no longer quite as fashionable as it was, I might never have been this honest. Well, you can tell J.K. Rowling is a writer because she basically wrote a whole book, very beautiful language, very beautiful writing. But what she's basically saying is that the tides have turned. Years ago, we had all this woke nonsense where you're supposed to believe there are a million different genders and honor people's pronouns. We've had it, right? We're over the BS. We're over the tomfoolery. We're over the malarkey. I think if your kid comes in and says, I was born in the wrong body, you say, no, you weren't. What do you want for dinner? But Emma Watson, I think that's probably why she's changing her tune. She realizes, oh, the tides are shifting. The tides are shifting now, and for survival in my career, I'm going to maybe have to move it more to the middle and move it to common sense. But you can't be nasty for years and then turn it around, Emma Watson. And I think what J.K. Rowling said is basically true. She was living in poverty. She didn't have money until she wrote these Harry Potter books. She has lived that life. She is not going to let this rich girl, Emma Watson, who grew up on movie sets, tell her what to do or come crawling back to be friends with her. You know what I'm saying? Just because she acted in this film doesn't make her God. Doesn't mean she knows everything, Emma Watson. And I also have to just point out, J.K. Rowling is allowed to have her opinion, right? We should all be able to respect everyone else's opinion. If J.K. Rowling says there are two genders because that's biologically the case, you don't have to crap on her for years. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to try and tear people down and cancel them and cancel entertainment contracts and deals because they believe in biology. J.K. Rowling is a grown-ass woman and she's allowed to have her perspective. Emma Watson is a rich celebrity actress who knows nothing of what it's like to be an average, normal person working at a restaurant, being a school teacher. She has been a famous actress her whole life. She's not so famous anymore. The roles have dried up for her. She's not getting a lot of acting gigs anymore. Maybe that's why she's going on this podcast tour and trying to reinvent herself. But J.K. Rowling, I'm on J.K. Rowling's side in this, of course, 1000%, because like J.K. Rowling, I also believe in science. There are two genders. Men have biological advantages over women when it comes to almost every single sport. I don't think you should have men in women's sports. We have women in this country fighting to get men out of women's sports. So I'm going to side with J.K. Rowling on this every single day. The last point I want to make is this. We have to move away from calling people anti-transgender because they believe there are two genders, right? If someone doesn't want to affirm your made up new pronouns and your identity, doesn't mean they're anti-transgender. It means they're a human being with their feet planted firmly on the ground. They don't have to buy into your delusions of grandeur and whatever you want to do. Like someone I went to college with, he was changing his pronouns and his gender and his name probably from week to week. I finally said, "Uncle, I've had enough." When you land on a name and a gender and how you want to identify, come back and tell me. But I've got a busy life, a very full life, a lot going on. I can't play the game with you every single day. Okay, and I'm not going to be told that I'm a bigot because I can't remember what pronoun you want to use. I don't want to do the pronoun situation anymore. So we have to move away from calling people anti-trans or anti-LGBT because they just believe in science. Okay, if you choose to believe in science the way it's been for a million years with every other species, doesn't make you anti-transgender, but they do that to try to cancel you. The one thing I'll say about J.K. Rowling in closing, you can't cancel someone who's self-made and worth $1 billion and doesn't give a rat's ass what you think about them, right? If J.K. Rowling wanted to be hot and cool, she would have taken a different trajectory in life. You know what I'm saying? She wrote children's books about witchcraft and wizardry and fun and imagination, right? And goblins and ghouls. She wasn't trying to be a supermodel or some cool, fancy celebrity who goes to all the Hollywood parties. So you can't cancel someone like that who's always beat to the tune of their own drum and marched to the beat of their own drum. You can't cancel someone like that. And it's why I will always ride for J.K. Rowling. And it's, of course, people say I look like... People say I look like Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter. I love the Harry Potter books. I will continue to cherish them, and I love the films, even though I don't love Emma Watson so much. Well, my friends, I'm back telling you about Vandy Crisps. You guys know me, I'm not going to do any other potato chips because I don't want to feel guilty when I'm snacking. I've also converted so many of my friends over to Vandy. We talk about it all the time. They're like, Link, I might not watch every episode of your show, but I have ordered those Vandy Crisps. Let me tell you about them. So Vandy Crisps has just 3 ingredients: heirloom potatoes, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow, no seed oils. That tallow is loaded with nutrients for your skin, brain, and hormones, and it makes these chips taste unreal. The tallow means you're satisfied without overeating, which makes it the perfect snack. You need to give Vandy a try, so go to vandycrisps.com/link and use code LINK for 25% off your first order. That's vandycrisps.com/link and code LINK for 25% off your first order. And if you don't feel like ordering online, that's fine. Vandy is now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. So stop by and pick up a bag before they're gone.